Star Trek Strange New Worlds was a huge success, but the planned sequel only needs to take what it can from the popular show. What else do we currently know about the impending franchise entry? Find out all about it and more in today's video, so make sure to keep watching if you don't want to miss out on all the latest. Just recently, it's come to our attention that Star Trek 4 is really more exciting as a result of Strange New Worlds' success. Star Trek Strange New Worlds' enormous popularity may appear to be an issue for the impending Star Trek 4 movie, but it actually adds to the suspense of the follow-up. One of the most popular and long-running brands of all time is the Star Trek series, and it continues to be popular today thanks to its various current iterations. The Star Trek series continues in a more conventional episodic style as well as through the films of the Kelvin timeline, with shows like Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Strange New Worlds updating the series for the 21st century. The premise of Star Trek, the original series, is developed to a fascinating new degree in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The series, which serves as a prologue to the Enterprise's early adventures, includes iconic Star Trek figures, including Spock, Uhura, Christine Chapel, and, of course, James T. Kirk in its first season. Montgomery Scott has also been hinted to make an appearance. Despite having only one season of airing, Strange New Worlds has achieved unparalleled success and presently holds the title of the best Star Trek series. Strange New Worlds has established itself as a return to form for the franchise, receiving praise for its writing and clever use of its skilled ensemble. Even though the film universe of the Kelvin timeline is part of a different chronology, Star Trek Strange New Worlds' popularity actually raises expectations for the future Star Trek 4 sequel. It's been suggested that the success of Strange New Worlds makes Star Trek 4 more challenging to produce, but in reality, the popularity of the series might translate into a significant boost for the film franchise. Although the two don't directly compete with one another because they both live independently, there are still many things that the Kelvin timeline can learn from Strange New Worlds. Given how well received the series has been, Star Trek 4 can draw inspiration from it to develop a tone and plot that will appeal to diehard fans of the franchise. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has unquestionably rekindled interest in the original series. Though Star Trek the original series continues to be the beloved franchise's starting point, much has changed in the world since TOS's release, making it appear rather out of date when compared to more recent shows. Strange New Worlds, a prequel to the original series, has revived interest in TOS by going back to its beginnings and the iconic figures who gave it its widespread appeal. Strange New Worlds establishes several crucial linkages that have helped to rekindle interest in Star Trek's past by recasting a few of the classic roles from TOS. Since Strange New Worlds is a prequel, several of its plots hint at or make references to the original series. Strange New Worlds has delicately rekindled the passion for the early days of the franchise by incorporating subtle allusions to original Star Trek hidden under its bright aesthetics and fascinating narrative. Even if it's only because their stories essentially parallel each other in their own eras, this is what connects Strange New Worlds to the Kelvin timeline. And do you know what else is better? The Kelvin timeline would be improved by a Prime Universe prequel. Strange New Worlds improves the Star Trek Kelvin timeline by examining the Enterprise's journey. Before Kirk became its captain, James T. Kirk from the Prime Universe is now a part of the Enterprise mission thanks to the Strange New Worlds, which also examined other well-known characters like Spock and Uhura. This deepens all the characters' incarnations throughout the many timelines and gives already existing characters new, previously unseen layers. Though the two eras aren't connected, the concepts from the series would nevertheless influence the films. Strange New Worlds, which serves as a prequel, also examines hit hero unexplored aspects of the Federation and its allies and foes. For instance, the Balance of Terror scene from Strange New Worlds, which revisited the Federation's first encounter with the Romulans and the Generations, was a major success from a narrative standpoint. This success may serve as a model for how Star Trek 4 might handle a similar scenario. Strange New Worlds explores many concepts that Star Trek 4 can undoubtedly learn from, but it would need to be subtle to let the prequel series actions influence the sequel in a different reality. But we anticipate that different formats will make it difficult to draw comparisons between Star Trek 4 and SNW. Unfavorable similarities are the downfall of news stories with the majority of Star Trek assets. Contradictions between different series have long been a source of dispute among Star Trek fans, but the many disparities between Strange New Worlds and the Kelvin timeline are substantial enough to put an end to this problem. The numerous timelines in various forms are one of the modern Star Trek's best features, which is especially amazing given that they are sharing several characters. The fact that Strange New Worlds is the most watched episode of Star Trek is no accident. Its influences are obvious. It uses the original series' episodic structure while keeping Discovery's more pristine graphics. Strange New Worlds is inherently different from the box office hits of the Kelvin timeline due to its episodic episodic format, and this level of differentiation is crucial for the ongoing success of the film franchise. Strange New Worlds and the Kelvin Timeline are wholly independent stories, and that's absurdly crucial in maintaining the success of the two individual properties. They're connected by the basic thrust of their narratives and roughly where they are in their own timelines. Additionally, SNW's unique take on classic Trek creates the ideal series template. The best aspect of Strange New Worlds is how it reimagines classic Star Trek. While Star Trek IV should avoid recycling storylines, it can use the model set by program's popularity. Strange New Worlds has accomplished something that no other Star Trek franchise has really accomplished yet. It has retained the appeal of the original series without holding itself back by reimagining the graphics of Star Trek the original series with more contemporary flair. It was a huge hit since the more contemporary aesthetics didn't change the essential designs, rather they just made everything look more polished and suitable for today's viewers. If the Kelvin Timeline's slick and impersonal graphics were replaced by Strange New Worlds' more vibrant colors, Star Trek IV would help the film return to their original inspiration. Additionally, employing a similar plot for Star Trek IV to that of Strange New Worlds will help fix the problems with earlier Kelvin Timeline films, while still paying homage to classic Trek while being completely independent of the original series. Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek IV are not likely to compete directly, despite what might seem at first glance. Instead, the former should teach the latter about how that works for contemporary Star Trek. But as much as Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a joy to fans, there's still the divisive issue about modern Star Trek TV shows. Why was the vulnerable sci-fi franchise turned into such a problematic creature? Many of Star Trek's contemporary output is met with a hostile reception. What reasons led to the unusual division that modern Star Trek has experienced? Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek navigated a path across a large and small screens, surviving where so many others perished, yet the good ship Star Trek has never been impervious to danger. There's a whole myth about odd-numbered movies being cursed, yet Enterprise landed to generational indifference. Star Trek the original series Season 3 and Star Trek The Next Generation Season 1 both survived rough seas. The first instance of contemporary Star Trek division was probably 2013 Star Trek Into Darkness. Despite favorable reviews and a predecessor that effectively revives the franchise fortunes in the public eye, fan polls consistently place Star Trek Into Darkness among the franchise's very worst filmmaking efforts. Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, and other TV shows have all faced criticism as a result of the same attitude. Only Star Trek Strange New Worlds managed to escape the stinging criticism of the audience. It's because of the media via which those viewpoints were expressed that contemporary Star Trek feels more controversial. The long slog of print media, vehement letters, and early dial-up internet was the only criticism of Star Trek The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. To wait till your mother's deadline phone call is through before drafting out a blog post that will take 3 hours to upload, you truly need to detest TV shows. Ironically, Star Trek has suffered as a result of technological breakthroughs. With a few thumb swipes, every single viewer can now instantly share their thoughts, and the number of social media encourages partisan opinions over balanced ones, creating an echo chamber that reinforces hostility. Star Trek has clearly evolved over the past 10 years, but the opposition as modern Star Trek isn't really the different from the 30 years ago. And that concludes today's episode about the latest on Star Trek. Have you watched Strange New Worlds yet? If you have, tell us what you think about it without spoiling anything in the comment section. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.